Here's what nobody tells you about understanding women. Research from the University of Texas shows that 87% of men fundamentally misunderstand female psychology, not because they're stupid, but because they're operating on what women say instead of what women actually respond to. Society says women want sensitive, emotionally available men who communicate openly and share their feelings. Men who prioritize the relationship above everything. Men who make them the center of their universe. But here's the reality. The men who believe this advice end up confused, frustrated, and alone watching women say they want one thing while consistently choosing men who do the opposite. Brother, if you've ever wondered why she lost attraction, even though you did everything right, why she left you for someone who treated her worse, or why the guys who seem to care the least get the most female attention, you're about to understand why. I know you felt this confusion. You've been the good guy, the one who listened, the one who was always there, the one who made her the priority. And instead of appreciation, you got friend-zoned, cheated on, or left for someone who gave her a fraction of what you did. Fellas, what I'm about to share with you in the next 26 minutes will fundamentally change how you understand female behavior. This isn't misogyny. This isn't woman-hating. This is pattern recognition based on evolutionary psychology, behavioral research, and what actually works in the real world versus what people pretend works. Pay attention, because the men who ignore these truths are the ones who end up destroyed, confused, and blaming themselves for relationship failures that were never their fault. Let's be crystal clear about what we're dealing with. Society tells you that men and women want the same things in relationships, that we process attraction the same way, that what works for female attraction works the same as male attraction. But here's the brutal reality. Men and women are fundamentally different in how they experience attraction, and pretending otherwise destroys relationships. Research from evolutionary psychologist David Buss shows that male and female mating strategies diverged hundreds of thousands of years ago and are still hardwired into our psychology today. What attracts you to women is not what attracts women to men. What you think demonstrates love often kills attraction. What you believe proves your value often makes you seem worthless. And here's what nobody wants to admit. Women themselves often don't consciously understand their own attraction mechanisms. They genuinely believe they want what they say they want. They're not lying when they tell you they want a sensitive, caring, available man. They actually think that's true until they're in the presence of a man who exhibits opposite traits and feel attraction they can't explain or control. This is why you can't learn about women from women. This is why dating advice from female friends destroys your dating life. This is why doing what she says she wants often kills the relationship. Because conscious preference and unconscious attraction are completely different things. The men who understand this truth thrive in relationships. The men who ignore it and operate on politically correct fairy tales, they perish in confusion and frustration. Core truth number 1. Women are attracted to status and competence, not sensitivity and availability. This is the big one that destroys most men. You've been told that showing vulnerability, sharing your feelings, and being emotionally available will create attraction. So you open up. You share your insecurities. You cry on her shoulder. You make yourself completely available at all times. And you watch her attraction die. Research from UCLA shows that women rate men as significantly less attractive after witnessing emotional vulnerability or displays of weakness, even when they consciously report wanting emotionally open partners. Why? Because attraction isn't a choice. It's a biological response to signals of genetic fitness and survival capability. Here's the brutal truth. Women are attracted to men who demonstrate status, competence, and emotional control, not men who need emotional support from them. Your girlfriend isn't your therapist. Your wife isn't your emotional support system. The moment you make her your emotional caretaker, you've killed the sexual polarity that created attraction in the first place. This doesn't mean being emotionless or unavailable. It means understanding that your vulnerability needs outlets other than the woman you're trying to maintain attraction with. Men's groups, male friends, therapists, but not her. Because every time you cry on her shoulder, you're activating her maternal instincts, and women don't want to sleep with men they mother. Studies from the Kinsey Institute show that women in long-term relationships report loss of sexual attraction, directly correlating with increases in male emotional dependency. The more you need her, the less she wants you. It's not fair. It's not politically correct. But it's biology. Core truth number 2. Women test men constantly, and your response determines everything. This one blindsides most men because they don't even recognize it's happening. She creates drama over something minor. She picks a fight out of nowhere. She makes an unreasonable demand. She threatens to leave over something trivial. Most men panic. They apologize. They try to fix it. They cave to the demand. They beg her not to leave, and they fail the test. Research from relationship expert Dr. Robert Glover shows that 92% of female behavior that appears irrational is actually unconscious testing to determine male strength, boundaries, and worthiness. She's not actually upset about the dishes. She's testing whether you'll maintain your frame under pressure. She's not actually going to leave over that comment. She's testing whether you'll panic and chase. Here's what nobody tells you. Women are attracted to men who pass their tests by remaining unmoved, unaffected, and unbothered by emotional manipulation. The man who stays calm when she creates drama. The man who holds his boundary when she makes demands. The man who shrugs when she threatens to leave. That's the man she respects and remains attracted to. This isn't about being mean or uncaring. It's about understanding that emotional strength and frame control are aphrodisiacs, while weakness and neediness are repellents. Every time she tests you and you fail, she loses attraction. Every time you pass by remaining solid, her attraction increases. Studies from the Journal of Personality show that women report significantly higher relationship satisfaction and sexual attraction to partners who maintain consistent emotional control, regardless of their testing behavior. She needs to know you're unshakable. Testing is how she finds out. Core truth number 3. Women choose based on feelings, then rationalize with logic after the fact. This explains so much confusion men experience. You present yourself as the logical choice. Great job, financial stability, emotional availability, no red flags, treats her well, does everything right, and she chooses the broke musician with a drug problem who treats her like an option. Why? Because women don't choose partners based on logical evaluation of who's best for them. They choose based on who creates the strongest emotional response, then rationalize that decision afterward. Research from neuroscientist Dr. Lisa Feldman Barrett shows that female mate selection is driven primarily by limbic system activation, emotion, and attraction, not prefrontal cortex analysis, logic, and reason. The right choice loses to the exciting choice 90% of the time. Here's the truth that destroys nice guys. Being safe, stable, and logical doesn't create attraction. Being unpredictable, challenging, and emotionally stimulating does. She'll date the dangerous guy who makes her feel alive, then marry the safe guy who makes her feel secure, then cheat with the dangerous guy who makes her feel alive again. This is why doing everything right doesn't work. You're playing a logical game in an emotional arena. You're bringing reason to a feelings fight. And you're losing because you don't understand the rules. Studies from the Journal of Social Psychology show that women consistently choose partners who create emotional volatility over partners who create emotional stability in the attraction phase. Stability matters for long-term commitment, but it doesn't create attraction. Excitement does, challenge does, unpredictability does. Stop being the obvious good choice and start being the compelling emotional experience. Core truth number 4. Attention is the currency women trade, and scarcity creates value. This one destroys men who think that being always available and constantly attentive demonstrates love. You text back immediately. You're always free when she wants to see you. You make her the center of your universe. And she gets bored and leaves. Research from psychologist Dr. Robert Cialdini shows that perceived scarcity dramatically increases perceived value in all human interactions, including romantic relationships. The more available you are, the less valuable you seem. The more you chase, the less she values being caught. Here's the brutal truth. Women are attracted to men who have lives, missions, and priorities that sometimes supersede her. Not men who drop everything for her. Not men whose world revolves around her schedule. Men who are busy building something that matters more than her feelings in any given moment. This isn't about playing games. It's about having a life that's genuinely valuable enough that access to your time and attention is scarce. The musician she's obsessed with, he's not available because he's pursuing his mission. You're always available because you have nothing going on except her. Who seems more valuable? Studies from the University of Virginia show that women report higher attraction to partners who maintain independent pursuits and social lives outside the relationship. Your unavailability isn't neglect, it's proof of value. Your availability isn't love, it's proof of desperation. Stop being always available. Build something that matters. Make her compete for your time with things that are actually important. Watch how attraction increases. Core truth number 5. Women desire male leadership, not partnership in decision-making. This one's career suicide in modern discourse, but it's backed by decades of research and evolutionary psychology. Society tells you that healthy relationships are equal partnerships, where every decision is discussed and mutually agreed upon. But here's what actually happens. Women lose attraction to men who constantly seek their input and approval for decisions. Research from the University of Iowa shows that women report significantly higher relationship satisfaction with partners who make decisions confidently without requiring validation. Here's the truth. Women don't want to be your decision-making partner. They want to be led by a man who knows what he wants and has the strength to pursue it. Not controlled, not dominated, but led. There's a massive difference. When you ask her where she wants to eat every single time, you're not being considerate, you're demonstrating weakness and indecisiveness. When you constantly seek her approval for your plans, you're not being respectful, you're revealing that you don't trust your own judgment. Studies from relationship researcher Dr. John Gottman show that couples where men exhibit consistent decision-making leadership report 63% higher sexual satisfaction and significantly lower divorce rates. Why? Because decisiveness is attractive, confidence is attractive, knowing what you want and pursuing it without apology is attractive. This doesn't mean ignoring her needs or preferences. It means leading while considering her, not asking permission to lead. Big difference. Core truth. Number 6. Physical attraction matters more than women admit, and it can't be negotiated. Final truth that men need to hear. Women are just as shallow about physical attraction as men are. They're just better at hiding it behind socially acceptable language. Society tells you that women don't care about looks, that they're attracted to personality, humor, confidence, success. And there's truth there for long-term relationships. But for sexual attraction, physical presence matters enormously. Research from the University of California shows that women make initial attraction assessments within 3 seconds of meeting a man, based almost entirely on physical markers of genetic fitness. Height, shoulder-to-waist ratio, facial symmetry, posture, physical presence, these create the initial attraction or kill it before you even speak. Here's what this means practically. You can't negotiate attraction through personality if physical attraction isn't there. No amount of being funny, interesting, or successful will create sexual desire if the physical attraction is absent. This is why just be confident advice fails. Confidence matters only after physical attraction threshold is met. Studies from evolutionary psychology show that women's stated preferences for partners differ dramatically from their revealed preferences in actual mate selection. They say they want kind, funny, emotionally available men. They consistently choose tall, physically fit men with strong facial features. Both things can matter, but physical attraction is the prerequisite. This isn't black pill defeatism, it's reality. If you're not physically attractive, you need to work on what you can control: fitness, posture, grooming, style, presence. But understand that personality can't compensate for complete absence of physical attraction, despite what society pretends. Here's how you use this understanding to improve your life. First insight: stop trying to understand her through female communication. Understand yourself and your patterns. You've been trying to decode what she says. Stop. Watch what she does. Women reveal truth through behavior, not words. Your job isn't to understand her explanations. It's to recognize patterns and respond accordingly. Second insight: accept you can't change her behavior, only your response to it. She's going to test. She's going to be emotional. She's going to make illogical decisions. That's not changing. What changes is whether you react with strength or weakness, whether you hold frame or collapse, whether you pass tests or fail them. Third insight: focus on what you can control: your status, competence, mission, and boundaries. Stop trying to make her see your value. Build actual value. Stop trying to make her respect you. Become respectable. Stop trying to maintain attraction through behavior. Become attractive through transformation. Fourth insight: use this knowledge to make better decisions, not to fix broken people. These truths aren't tools for manipulating women. They're tools for understanding reality, so you can make informed choices. If she's testing constantly, you choose whether to engage. If she's choosing based on feelings, you decide whether that's the game you want to play. Fifth insight: apply these lessons to future relationships. Vet smarter, choose better. Now that you understand female psychology, you can screen for women whose behavior aligns with healthy relationship dynamics. You can spot red flags early. You can avoid women who test excessively or whose attraction is purely emotional volatility. Final insight: share this wisdom with other men. Break the cycle of ignorance. The reason men are suffering is because this knowledge is suppressed. Sharing it is labeled misogyny. Teaching it is called toxic. But men need truth more than they need politically correct fairy tales that leave them confused and alone. The question isn't whether these truths are comfortable. The question is whether you respect yourself enough to accept them anyway. Most men will read this and reject it because it contradicts everything they've been taught. They'll call it cynical, misogynistic, or outdated. They'll cling to the comfortable lie that women are exactly like men in relationships, just with different bodies, and they'll keep failing in relationships. Keep getting confused by behavior that doesn't match words. Keep wondering why doing everything right leads to being left. Keep perishing in ignorance while pretending they're morally superior for refusing to see reality. The few men who actually integrate this knowledge, they'll transform their relationships overnight. Not because they become manipulative, because they become realistic. They'll stop being surprised by female behavior and start responding effectively to it. They'll stop being hurt by tests and start passing them. Stop being confused by emotional decisions and start creating emotional attraction. Stop being the nice guy who finishes last and start being the strong man who's actually chosen. Understanding female psychology isn't about hating women. It's about loving reality more than comfortable delusions. It's about making decisions based on what actually works, instead of what you wish worked. So what are you going to do with this knowledge? Keep pretending the emperor has clothes and wonder why you keep losing? Or accept the uncomfortable truth and build relationships based on reality? The men who choose truth might be fewer, but they're the ones who actually win. Be one of them.